Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis, which is presented to you by LawSikho. So, today we will be discussing three articles. All the three articles are from The Hindu. The first article is titled as In Telehealth Scaling Up the Indian Advantage. So, this talks about a very interesting and a topic which is quite needed in this hour currently, which talks about the delivery of healthcare services by means of internet, that is telehealth services, just like eSanjeevani. So what are the prospects of it and how can we develop it further in this time has been discussed in this article. The second one is combating vaccine hesitancy. So we'll learn over here as to what do we mean by vaccine hesitancy, why has it become a problem these days, and what are the solutions or what are the steps that can be taken to deal with this problem. And thirdly, the viability of two proposals. So this is again a very interesting topic wherein the recent contention that has been given by West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has been discussed here of having four capitals of the country and also about having another bench of Supreme Court in the southern part of the country. And finally, we have the news in flash column wherein we'll be discussing the news which is more important for our prelims exam. So if you're also preparing for judicial services examination, you can have a look at the Lord of the Courses, which is the judiciary test prep course coming from LawSikho. So this is a very amazingly drafted course. If at all you want to have a look at it, the link is there in the description box. And from the landing page, you can download free study material for your own help as well. Also, you can have a look at our other courses like for CLAT, All India Bar Exam, SEBI, etc. And there is this new course called as the Limited Insolvency Examination course from the IBBI. So this also you can have a look at. So this is the multiple choice question from yesterday's discussion. Leatherback turtle is found in which of the following areas? Your options are Andaman and Nicobar Islands, option 2, Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, or all of the above. You can write down your answer in the comment section below. So this is the descriptive question for the day. What is vaccine hesitancy? How do you think we can deal with it? So the first article talks about the COVID impact on health and telehealth. So a survey by the World Health Organization in 105 countries showed that the essential services were disrupted in majority of countries, with immunization, antenatal and childcare services most widely affected. As we know that due to the COVID-19, there was this huge lockdown, worldwide lockdown that had taken place. So obviously there was this great disruption that took place in the delivery of various services. And now amongst these services, three of these, firstly, the immunization services, antenatal services and childcare services were the most affected. Now by immunization services we mean, like for example, the immunization that goes for the polio virus. So even that was not possible. Various other kinds of vaccines and immunization programs could not be conducted, which are very, very essential for any healthcare system. For antenatal services, these are the services which are given to the pregnant women before the birth of the baby. And by childcare services, we mean by this, the childcare services, we mean the services that are important for the healthy growth and the health of the children. Now, the steps that can be taken in this direction are, firstly, enhanced technology use. So by enhancing or increasing the use of technology, we mean virtual consultations to avoid risk of COVID. Here comes the very discussion of a very, very nice and innovative platform that was developed by the government of India in the times of COVID-19, which is called as the eSanjeevani platform. Basically, this platform is an online portal wherein virtual consultations can take place. Like, for example, if I'm suffering from any kind of problem, then I can consult a doctor over a video call, and that will be completely on a virtual basis. That is, I will not have to visit the proper clinic in the physical sense of that particular doctor, and I will get the consultations done at staying at my home itself. So this definitely, firstly, increased the healthcare services and made the delivery even better. And secondly, it made the very thing of physical distancing possible in the times of COVID-19. So this initiative, eSanjeevani platform, offers both provider to patient as well as provider to provider interactions. Now, what do we mean by provider to patient and provider to provider interactions? So the first one, which we just discussed, that provider is the healthcare service provider. This could be any hospital, any doctor, any kind of health expert. And these institutions can provide the consultations to the patients. And also, there can be provider to provider interactions as well. Like, for example, a team of doctor wants to consult another team of doctor regarding any research or development, or regarding any kind of, consultations, or regarding any thing to be discussed about the medicines or something. So that platform has also been provided by eSanjeevani. Secondly, utilize shared appointments. Now, this is a very new concept and very nice thing that has been put up in this article is of the SMAs, which is the shared medical appointments. Basically, it was offered successfully in US for over 20 years. So it is not something that is a very new or novel concept. United States of America has already been using this SMA, that is a shared medical appointment system, since last 20 years. What do we mean by the shared medical appointments? Is that people who suffer with a similar ailment, or who have to ask the similar questions to a particular doctor, they can have a shared appointment. Now, this will again be a virtual appointment. Like, for example, all can connect over one video call, and these all can ask group questions to the doctor. Now, there are various benefits of it. The patients get more time with the clinician, because now the clinician or the doctor, he knows that he is catering. Like, if for example he is serving for 1 hour, so he's catering to a lot of people, so he's ready to give in more time in that direction. Secondly, enables peer support. See, many a times we think that we are the only one suffering with this disease, and we are the only one who is facing so many problems. But when we look at people who are in the similar shoe as we are in, so we really feel better, and maybe many a times we feel very much motivated also when we talk to people, and they can help us out with various things. So it also enables the peer support, that is where various people can discuss their problems at a larger platform. And finally, it improves the productivity and outcomes. As we know that in India, there is a huge shortage of doctors. According to the World Health Organization, there is only one doctor for about 10,000 patients. So can you imagine the burden that is there on these doctors to cater to each of the patients? And that is why, with these shared medical appointments, one doctor will be able to consult within very less period of time to a lot of people and a lot of patients. And that would definitely improve the productivity and efficiency of the outcomes. Now, if we talk about the impact on India, so impact of COVID-19 on India, the detection of tuberculosis cases has gone down by 50%. Now, as we know that TB or tuberculosis is another big problem that India is suffering with, and mostly the tribal areas and the rural areas of our country suffer a lot with the problem of tuberculosis. And if at all, we want to make sure that people get timely treatment. For that, it is important that timely diagnosis also takes place, and thus regular testing of tuberculosis or detection also needs to be taken care of. But due to COVID-19, it was badly disrupted as cases came down. The detection of the cases came down by 50%. Then the antenatal care visits, they also went down by 56%. Now, as we know that when a woman is pregnant, she has to see a doctor regularly to make sure that everything with the baby and her health is going well before the birth takes place. And even in this regard, for the antenatal care and healthcare services also, it has gone down by 56%. Then the stoppage of regular follow-ups for diabetes as well. Diabetes is again a very big problem which Indian population is suffering from. So that also has come down, as in the checking of that problem has come down, not the problem itself. And exacerbated inequalities, as people in rural and remote areas were further disadvantaged because they could not move and travel to the cities for better consultations and better healthcare services due to the problem of the lockdowns that were there. So if we talk about the global strategy on digital health, it was adopted by WHO, and it is a roadmap for nations to rapidly expand digital services, just like India has done in the case of eSanjeevani. Now, the next article talks about combating vaccine hesitancy. So the response to mass vaccination drives have been lukewarm despite availability, affordability, and accessibility to healthcare, sanitation, and frontline workers. With this, we need to understand that what do we mean by vaccine hesitancy? What happens is that the vaccine is affordable, it is available, and it is accessible as well. Now, what do we mean by these three words? By availability, we mean that there is some vaccine which is there in the market. Like now we have the Covaxin, we have Covishield, and various other vaccines that are coming up. So we know that the vaccines are available in the first place. Secondly, the vaccines are affordable, which means that the price of these particular vaccines is as such which can be afforded by a particular person. So let's say, for example, it might be for 200 or 250 or 300 rupees, keeping in mind that how dangerous this particular disease is, the vaccine is affordable. And next, it is accessible as well. So now we have the vaccine in the market, it is affordable for the pocket as well, and now it is available in the our hospitals, or healthcare agencies or institutions as well. So we have access, we have the access, or we have our reach to these particular vaccines as well. But still, why people are not ready to take these vaccines? That is called as the vaccine hesitancy, which means that despite the availability, affordability, and accessibility to the healthcare, sanitation, and frontline workers as well, they are not willing to administer, or they're not willing to take these vaccines on their own selves. Now, the reasons to this are various. Many a times people don't have the trust in that particular vaccine. So here are the things that are mentioned over here. The first and the biggest reason is complacency. What happens is that we believe that the vaccine preventable disease, like for example, COVID-19 itself is a vaccine preventable disease. Polio is a vaccine preventable disease. So any disease that can be prevented, the occurrence of which can be prevented if the right vaccine is administered. So the people believe that this particular vaccine preventable disease, the risks of this disease are very low, and thus vaccines are not necessary for the as a preventive. This is a very, very wrong contention to be thought about. Then if we talk about the convenience, the extent to which the vaccines are available, affordable, and accessible. So here in current situation also, though as we know that the vaccines are not very easily and readily available also in the current situation, but still the government is making a lot of efforts to make them available, but still the people are very reluctant to take these vaccines. And further, the lack of confidence. Now, probably this in India's case is the biggest reason, and also in COVID-19 case also is the biggest reason, that there is the trust in the effectiveness and safety of the vaccines, the system that delivers the vaccine, and the motives of those who establish policies on necessary vaccines is not enough. Here, the very problem is this, because till now the vaccines which are being administered, they have only been approved for emergency use. So we do not have a very short vaccine for now, but still this needs to be thought that because it is made available to the people, a lot of research and development on the scientific lines has been done, and only then this vaccine has been allowed to be given to the people. And that is why the people should have the confidence in the government also, and the institutions that are delivering the vaccine. And in the first place, they should have the confidence in the quality of that particular vaccine as well. So that is why when there is lack of any of these things, what result we have in hand is the vaccine hesitancy. Now, these are the steps that can be taken to reduce the vaccine hesitancy. Instead of anti-vaxxers, target audience must be swing populations, which means that these are the people who can be persuaded, who currently think, see, there are people who are anti-vaxxers, there will always be people who are completely that completely against a particular thing. So instead of paying attention on them right now, we should be paying more attention on the people who have some doubts in their mind, and if we give them some scientific facts and proper communication, so they can be persuaded and they can be convinced on taking up these vaccines. Secondly, to develop inquisitive temper to fact check any news related to COVID-19 vaccines before sharing. See, now we know this misinformation, disinformation is a big problem these days, since the time we have had this access to internet and smart devices. So before we share any particular information about the vaccines, we should be very sure that whatever we are forwarding to various groups or people or any of our family friends, we make sure that the entire information in that message is correct and it is bona fide. And only then we take this risk of making anything or giving it a forward thing. And finally, use celebrity effect. Obviously, in the case of India, it is one short thing that you can do is to use celebrity effect, because in our country, it's maybe we don't believe on doctors as much as we do on celebrities. It may be possible that we might not get convinced even with a scientific fact. But if a particular celebrity says something to us, so we will definitely be, believing it. This is the kind of thinking that is there in the country. So the ability of prominent personalities who obviously need to have some faith in it, and there should be the right thing which is coming out. So these have the ability, the prominent personalities have the ability to influence others to take the vaccines. So as you know, recently in our caller tune as well, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan was also, his voiceover was used to convince the people to take care of themselves and to, follow the norms of physical distancing, etc. So these things actually work out, and many a times these steps should be taken in the right direction. Now let's discuss the third article for the day, which talks about two capitals. So, speaking at the roadshow, West Bengal's Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee asked why India should have only one capital and suggested that there should be four. So, this actually the feasibility of this entire plan maybe was not thought upon. So, let's know that why this proposal is not viable. Basically, she's proposing that why only Delhi can be the capital in the northern part of the country. Why don't we have four capitals of our country in all the four directions? So firstly, it will be huge. There will be huge expenditure involved, as we know that even the Central Vista project, which is going on of reforming and redefining the entire parliament area and the entire area, administrative and legislative area of the capital, even that is coming out to be in thousands of crores. So we can't really even imagine that how much expenditure will be needed in making these four capitals altogether. Because see, it's not just about building one particular office and you can call that area capital. The connectivity to that particular area, the availability of resources, and all other things have to be kept in mind if at all you have to make any place a capital. Then providing security to all the MPs will be a huge burden for the state police, because now they'll be moving every now here and then here and there for carrying out various businesses in the various four capitals. So they will need security, they will need accommodation and other facilities. So it will just not be worthwhile, and it will enhanced security will be required for many. And even vacant accommodations of MPs will have to be guarded around the clock, because as we know, if at all they'll be coming over there, they will be staying in the government accommodations. So firstly, we'll have to build those accommodations, we'll have to maintain them, and even have to keep them secure all around the year, irrespective of the fact whether any MP is living in it or not at that point of time. So the proposal that can be considered is setting up of a Supreme Court bench in South India. Now, this request was made in January 2021 by Bar Council of 5 southern states, that it would be really feasible that one bench of the Supreme Court is set up in South India as well, keeping in mind that many times when the cases go to the Supreme Court in the appeal, so it becomes really difficult and lethargic for the people from South India to travel every now and then back and forth towards to New Delhi and then go back to their hometowns, and further affording the fees of the Supreme Court advocates as well is not very pocket friendly. With this, let's see what do we have for news in flash today. South Africa virus strain. So a new strain of the COVID-19 virus has been seen. So it has been seen in India as well now, which is a 501YV2 virus, has been detected in 4 returnees now. So it is more transmissible than the UK variant, which was seen earlier, and affects the younger population as well. So this can be very, detrimental as well if we do not keep a check right now on it. So the no evidence is there that it is deadlier like the UK variant. So up till now, we do not have that kind of an evidence, but still we need to be very careful about it. So this was all for the day. We hope it was a good session for you. If you liked this session and the quality of content that we have been delivering here, please like this video and share it with your friends who are also preparing for Judicial Services examination. And do let us know if you like this video in writing down in the comment section below. Thank you so much.